Welcome back to another week of One Man's Trash, where I document my journey as a reseller, flipping items on eBay that I find in abandoned storage lockers. This week I'm going to keep it pretty short. I'm going to hit on, as always, kind of one relevant selling topic and then a quick update. So I'm going to talk about kind of the path to profit, how I track and hopefully, and in most cases, make sure I get a return on profit on the items that I've got in my inventory. And then I'm going to give an update on an auction from last week, the relisted auction that surprisingly sold for 600 and the buyer did not pay. So relisted that one and give an update on how that one ended. So as a reseller, obviously your end game is to make money. I have a spreadsheet and all this kind of stuff. That's for another day. But just to talk on some very basic points of how I kind of track and kind of use that data to learn and better myself moving forward, where to spend my time and where to just move on. So hopefully this is transferable if you're a garage sailor, if you buy stuff at yard sales, if you're flipping things through wholesale lots, whatever it may be. Storage lockers, of course, is going to be relevant. So my goal at the end of the day, the biggest number, is to at least get a break even or return on investment by 30 days of when I purchase it. Again, this is a hobby for me. If you're full-time doing this stuff, it may be slightly different. But for me, within 30 days, if I spend $500 to get this stuff, I want to make sure I've got that $500 back. And there's plenty of reasons for that, to have that capital back to reinvest and get more stuff, and to make sure you're not just sitting on stuff and piling up and having inventory pile up with no money coming in. The biggest factor obviously is what you're buying, and that over time is how you're going to learn and refine. You may find your niche. I'm only going to buy these types of things, but we're talking more broadly. So I track 7 days, 14 days, and then 30 days, and then everything beyond that I just kind of put into this carried inventory pile. So for me, mentally, it helps huge that I kind of, as soon as I clear out a storage locker and bring the inventory home, get rid of the stuff I'm donating and taking to the dump, then that kind of starts the clock. Okay, what are the big ticket items? What are the large dollar items? What are the fastest moving items? And maybe what are the physically largest items that are going to take up space? I'm a lot less interested in sitting on a large item for a longer period of time, just because I'm working with limited space. If you have a huge barn or a huge facility, that might not be a concern for you, but most people flipping are doing it out of a closet, a garage, a room, something like that. So space is huge for me. So I'm tracking, obviously, those sales within 30 days. That's to motivate me to make sure I'm getting most of this stuff listed. And the natural reality of doing this part-time, odds are you're not going to get everything listed within those 30 days. You're going to have a pile of stuff all right, I need to do research on this stuff, or hey, when I have downtime between my day jobs or whatever it may be, I'm going to get around to that stuff. But identifying those high dollar items is going to help you get that return on investment, or at least that break even, sooner. Just to throw the numbers out there, this year to date, I have bought close to 10 lockers, 5 individual days. I kind of group them per day, not per locker, just because it's easier to account for that way. Out of those 5, 3 are profitable. 2, I took a wash. Even though took a wash, over time, I probably will make money on it. But again, I'm only really focused on those 30 days. So after those 30 days, like I said, I treat it as carried inventory, whether it's been listed on eBay, Poshmark, OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, and it's been up there for 30 days. If it sells later, I'm just kind of treating that as this extra pool. And that over time is what you're going to start to see. Hey, maybe I did take that break even. I spent $500 on a locker. I got $500 of sales within those 30 days. Maybe over those next 12 months, you sold another $500 or another $1,000 worth of stuff from there. That is profit right there. So that's a huge long game, but that is a huge piece of what you're in it for. The biggest check for me in between that picture of 30 days and the perpetual 2 years, 1 year, whatever it may be, is, again, that personal motivation, space, time, all of that kind of stuff. I'm still refining that process myself, but check back. Doing that 30-day allows you to kind of refresh, okay, what kind of items are in that carried inventory that have been sitting here forever. Maybe you see a trend of a particular category of items that just aren't selling. So then you need to make that decision. All right, am I just going to donate them, move on, free up that space? And having that mindset of knowing, hey, I've already profited on these, or I've already broken even, kind of gets you into a better headspace. At least for me, it makes me a lot more likely to wheel and deal. So if I've been sitting on that for 90 days and someone sends me an offer on eBay for 50% of the asking price, I'm saying yes 9 times out of 10, unless it's that random item that I have this attachment to, or it has a high dollar value to it, and I just am still convincing myself I'm going to hold out. I'm going to take that 50% offer just to move it because I know I've already made money. At the end of the day, that's the game. So think on that, check back, figure out what that timeline looks for you. For some people, that might be 90 days. If you got the time and patience and only dealing with a little bit of inventory, do that. I'm at this place where I'm kind of, over the next month, slowing down on the buys, going to do an inventory here, clear out a bunch of stuff, knowing that I'm still in the black, and just bring some more inventory in and get better as we go. So I'll probably talk more on that spreadsheet and all of that. I'm huge on data. That's how I learn. That's how I get better. That's how I make money. So I'll definitely kind of break that down over time. But that's the basics of how I reflect on getting to profitability on a particular locker. I use the same logic for garage sales and stuff like that. So quick updates on the last week. So I had a set of 39 funk CDs from the 80s, 90s, may have been into the 2000s, probably just 80s and 90s. Didn't know much about it. Recognizable artists, put them up in a lot. A couple weeks ago, they sold for $600. Big surprise. Wasn't expecting much from them. Of course, that buyer did not pay. I've already done a whole nother video on that process, not getting too angry and too upset about that. After I went through the motions, closed the item not paid request or case, then I relisted it. So it closed last Saturday. I was out of town, but stayed up for watching the auction close. The auction closed at $152.50. So my goal was, even if it closed over 100, knowing that $600 was likely a fluke, over 100, I'm still ecstatic. So 152, fantastic. Buyer paid immediately, just shipped it out here on Monday, so they should be getting it here in a day or two. Upgraded them to priority shipping just because that's something I like to do, especially on an auction. Maybe in this case, I factored in the buyer's paying the shipping. I factored in media mail, so they paid maybe $5-6 to ship it. Cost me $10 to ship it priority. Knowing right now that mail is slower, especially media mail, that extra $5, knowing I just profited $100+ is easy to put in as a cost just to get to the customer faster, safer, less likely of return. It's a customer service decision, and it's a business decision, because I'm risking a return, I'm risking a refund, something like that if I don't get it there safe. And we all know with USPS, once you have let go of it, it's out of your hands. You've got no control over it. So that's a good news story. To finish it off, I like switching up the background here on the video that I've got on display. So speaking of excess inventory, right around the new year, I purchased probably one of my best lockers for $100. Had a ton of electronics in it. Here I've got sitting with me half a dozen keyboards. This is only about half of what I have. I've got one big tub just filled with keyboards, mice, whatever, and then some speakers. I have not touched it. I got rid of a lot of electronics from that locker and just let this stuff sit here. So over the next week, my goal is going to be to find out if these are even worth selling, maybe selling them in bulk. This is the exact kind of size item I always avoid selling on eBay. It's a mental thing. There's nothing wrong with selling it on eBay. In my mind, it's under $20 and it's costly to ship and it's probably prohibitive, but it's probably not the case. I'm going to do the homework, teach myself, learn, and then worst case, they're going to the thrift store. Best case, I'm sitting on 20 times however many dollars each one goes for. So hopefully relatively quick to test and list, and that just helps me move that much more inventory when I'm sitting on an overwhelming amount of stuff and trying to trying to clear it and make some money and not have it taking up space and not making money. So that's super important. So as always, let me know if there's a particular topic you want me to hit. I'm going to try and keep incorporating more reseller relevant topics as they come up. I've been selling online long enough that I think I have a handful of topics that I have some advice and some experience on. So the name of the game is learning. So even though I feel comfortable with something, I'm always trying to grow and learn. So stay tuned for more. I'll be back again next week. We'll see if I buy a locker this week. For the next month or two, the only things I'm going to be buying are 5x5 small lockers if the price is right, just to keep the momentum. So keeping my eye on some, but we'll see if that's in the cards tomorrow. If not, lots more selling stories to come. We'll catch you next time.